This is the Surly Grognards for August 13th, 2019. This is Peter Bowman, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Eric Carlson. How are you doing tonight, Eric?
Apparently, I'm making loud popping noises next to the microphone when I open up my bottle of mead.
Nice. Nice.
I should have done that beforehand, but I didn't think of it till exactly when you said started the spiel.
So, okay, we don't really have a topic per se tonight. I mean, we can sit here awkwardly and be silent for the entire show, but, if we're not careful, John Cage might sue us for copyright infringement.
I'm pretty sure Coons will sue us also because he's a cockwagon and I hate him.
Well, sure.
For those who don't know, Coons is a famous artist, quotation marks, whose entire process I find objectionable.
Yeah, you've,
I haven't gone off on him for like an hour and a half before at all.
You've mentioned him before on the, I think it was during,
Was it through in an anime?
It was during an anime during, it wasn't during our review of it, actually. It was when we were watching season 2.
Of...
Shokugeki no Soma.
Oh, right.
It was one of the later, it was either the second or third, I think it was the second season of Soma, when Azami showed up and started, doing his takeover of the academy.
Right.
So yeah,
go watch that because Kuntz is a cockwagon and I just need to spread my hatred of him. Or, just look up, like, his process. I mean, don't look at his work. You find his work however you like, because the first thing, it's not his work, but,
I from what I know, I really can't fault you, so... Oh, boy. So, let's see what's been up. Well, we've recently finished watching the first 2 seasons of Glow.
Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
On Netflix. Season 3 dropped last Friday, and we watched the first episode of it, and we'll be getting back to that. I'd seen it before. You hadn't, Eric.
No.
And I'd been telling you that you would like it and you should watch it.
So, here's the thing. I'm a stubborn idiot sometimes.
You are?
And I see it, and I see it's about wrestling, and I'm like, okay. It's about ladies wrestling. Okay, great. It's the most gimmicky of gimmick things. I'm not terribly interested, whatever. Okay, I guess I'll rewatch fucking Full Metal Alchemist again.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually Peter grabs me back of the head and shoves the screen into my face and says, "Watch!" The whole like Ludovico treatment thing with the things holding my eyes open with the eye drops and playing synthwave. Clockwork Orange reference for you. And turns out that Glow is not that the whole ladies wrestling thing is really just the glue that holds together some really interesting and occasionally fucking hilarious and heartwarming character drama about people in the 80s.
Yeah. And,
And also, because it's wrestling, they get to be ridiculously absurd sometimes. And I should have done the math on that, but I didn't.
You should have, Eric.
I admitted I am dumb.
So yeah,
I got 3 when I added 1 and 1. To be fair, I was using exceptionally large integers of 1.
So yeah, I'd seen it before, obviously. Basically, I think I watched it before season 2 came out, but not by much. I'd heard it come out. I heard it had come out, and I heard it was good. And I got distracted into watching it for a little while, but I did watch it before season 2 dropped, and then season 2 came out and watched that immediately because I really liked season 1. And so as Edward pointed out, it is not entirely non-fictional. Let's put it that way. It is based on a true story. of the actual show, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, Glow.
I hate to say it, but when I hear based on a true story, I become less interested in no matter what it is it's about.
I know.
Like, you could be about like robot mecha brothels, and based on a true story, I'm suddenly not interested in robot mecha brothels, despite the fact that's pretty much my dream place.
At any rate, it is based on the story of the what happened, and the creation and eventual fate of the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, which was a TV show in the 80s, women's wrestling, and it didn't last that long on television. You get to sort of see why it didn't last long. We get to see sort of a rough approximation of characters who are similar to the people who are actually in the show. They are not actually literally based on the actual, like, there are some sort of rough one-to-one equivalencies, but they aren't, it's not biographical is what it boils down to. It's not it's taking the basic idea of what happened and the rough sort of framework of what happened and telling a story with that.
It's like Blade Runner versus Joy Android Stream of Electric Sheep. Only it's actual history of what happened and what happened. Right, and the show,
right?
Rather.
So at any rate, the cast is very good. I adore Alison Brie. She as always, she's fantastic.
Yeah, Alison Brie. I haven't seen anything in it that I haven't liked her in. Seen stuff that I've seen her in that I didn't like, but she was always a good part of it.
Right. And she is wonderful in this.
Yeah, she's great.
So her character is an actress from a small town in the Midwest who's moved to California to become an actress. And it's not gone well for her. She's been not actually gotten any gigs since she's basically been in California for many years. And she eventually gets a call up for basically somebody decides to put together a women's wrestling program and puts a call up for actresses. And, woman running this one agency says, you keep saying you want to do something different and not and this is very different. You are not a typical actress. They wanted not typical actresses, so give it a shot. And
to be fair, you see her reading for a 2-word line in a show when she really wanted to be the boss in that. What she thought she was reading for.
Well, she knew she was supposed to be reading for the secretary role.
That's what they mean by doing something different. It's like it's not that she hasn't gotten any work, it's that it's useless bit parts here and there that add up to exactly nothing.
Yeah. So at any rate, yeah. And so we get to see her sort of interacting with the other women who are there trying out, and the director, who is wow. So the director of this show is
the greatest human being ever.
I won't go that far, but he's one of the greatest characters ever, though. Sam Sylvia is he's a movie director. He's directed a lot of I guess you could say avant-garde horror films.
I think Sam Raimi, except without the success.
Yeah.
Or early Peter Jackson.
I would actually lean more towards a bit sort of early Peter Jackson, but like even more sort of,
Psychosocial Gorefest.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing is that Sam actually has something to say in his movies.
Mm.
Even if you really can't tell through the bizarre bullshit, because he's a very strange man. And Sam is he's abrasive. He doesn't take criticism well. He gets very defensive. he's got issues with both alcohol and cocaine. Although it seems to affect him less as the show goes on. He seems to be doing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's because he's building up a tolerance or because he's doing less.
It's hard. We have no idea.
Probably both.
Honestly, it's entirely possible. But he's a really interesting character, and it really seems like at first he's a complete asshole, and he is.
Let's be clear, he is a complete asshole.
Yeah,
that doesn't change. It's just you start understanding the complexities of this asshole, and he becomes gloriously at once sympathetic and likable, despite still being an asshole.
Because at his core, he's actually not the worst guy ever.
No. He just says what he has to say in the most abrasive and asshole-ish way he can.
Oh, yeah.
If it is a nice thing.
There's a wonderful bit in season 2 where we get to see him be be a goddamn saint. Just like...
Seriously? That's why? Fuck that guy.
That was one of the best moments in the entire show. It's just
it shouldn't come as a surprise because it's exactly like...
Oh, it's entirely a character for him.
Yeah, it's entirely in character for Sam. It shouldn't come as any kind of surprise. But you can't help but have that little voice in the back of your head. Remember, Sam's an asshole.
Also, he's a guy and it's the 80s.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, and he's worked in Hollywood, he knows what the deal is. But he's like, no, that's an asshole move because it's an asshole move. And we're not going to spoil what that is because,
Right.
But
the other, there's a lot of really interesting, side characters and shit throughout all of Glow.
Oh, yeah.
But the other core is Alison Brie's character, Ruth, and, I can't remember the blonde's name. Debbie, thank you. And Debbie and their, they're frenemies. Let's be simple here.
They were originally really good friends, and Ruth did something really shitty.
Yeah.
And it basically destroyed the friendship. And again, understandable. What Ruth did was, I mean, this is not a spoiler. Ruth slept with Debbie's husband. Twice.
Several times.
Twice, specifically.
Yeah.
Now, the first time she was drunk, and that's sort of it's still shitty, but it's okay, maybe. But the second time she wasn't.
Yeah. I could say an argument for forgiving her. If she was drunk, I mean, her and the husband, if they were drunk, I could see an argument to forgive them. I wouldn't, but that's me.
Oh no, yes.
But I could see the argument. 2 times you've established a pattern. This isn't cool.
Oh yeah, no, and Ruth totally accepts the fact that she's fucked up. She's nope. You deserve to be pissed off with me. I'm not going to argue that point. Ruth very clearly is willing to take whatever shit Debbie's willing to dish out. And it's maybe Debbie will eventually forgive me. If she does, great. If she doesn't, she has every right not to.
I really it's a ton of shit that Debbie throws her. Debbie ends up joining the
Debbie ends up joining, and
Debbie also ends up joining.
Yeah, she ends up joining Glow, and she ends up being the star of the show
because she has had actual moderate success in Hollywood, having starred in a couple TV shows.
She was a major character on a soap opera for a while.
Yep.
Before they basically wrote her out of the show because, she's a little too smart for the type of role she was playing. And it was because Debbie's act that's the thing is okay. The other thing is Debbie, as I said, we totally understand why Debbie Debbie is totally in her rights not to forgive Ruth. The amount of shit that goes Ruth's way over the course, it's at the beginning. It's okay, totally fair. Okay, Debbie, you could dial it back a little bit now.
Pushing it a little hard here, and it's not just Ruth. Debbie establishes herself to be a bit of a selfish bitch.
Yes.
And it's subtle because the other people aren't supposed to pick up on it right away, but you're supposed to. The audience is.
Right.
And yeah, Debbie may have been wrong, but that doesn't mean she's not a selfish bitch.
Yep. Yeah. Ruth may have done an assholeish thing and done something terrible, but she's at her core a good person, a nice person.
Yep.
And Debbie is at her core kind of a bitch.
Yep.
That said,
and Sam Surface is all asshole bastard, but he's kind of the bastard with the heart of gold archetype.
Right. And then there's poor Bash.
Poor naive, stupid Bash.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to feel sorry for him because he is literally a trust fund baby in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, at least he's not as much. He's not. At least he's less of a problem.
At least he's only naive and not also a prick.
Yeah.
Bash is genuinely a nice guy. He is just naive to the point of stupidity.
Oh, he is not a bright man.
No. And he tries to be a nice guy, but he runs under a lot of assumptions like, why don't you just stop being poor? It's really easy. Till someone explains to him, no, this is how you get poor. Oh, that sucks. Someone should do something about that.
But
I don't think that's an actual thing that happens in the show.
But you could totally see that happening.
I could totally see that happening.
Yes. And at least he's not as dickish as his mother is.
His mom's the archetypical big money corporate Reagaunot, basically.
Yeah.
Old money, in charge of some ancient corporation that was never on a downturn, but is seeing new heights due to Reagan because it's the 80s and it's the 80s. Therefore, Reagan.
Yep. But yeah, Bash is at his core. He tries so hard to be a good guy.
He does.
And there are little hints here and there that he's not all good guy.
Yeah.
But he's not
bad. I mean, no one's entirely good in this show.
No, that's the thing is
they are all people.
Well, no, Eric, you will not say bad things about Carmen. I will not hear it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, she's a little easy to get pushed around.
Shush you. Okay, Tame. Tame is a complete total sweetheart.
Yeah, Tame is a giant fucking cinnamon roll. Yeah,
she is the best.
Tame is a cinnamon roll with a whiskey chaser. That's what she is.
I like that actually. Yeah, I love her. She is great.
She's all warmth and sweetness and will kick your ass if you're bad about it.
Yeah. She is great, and she's played by the actual professional wrestler in the cast.
Yes,
of the main cast, I should say. She's great. Again, the entire all the wrestlers are great.
Yeah.
So we've got Carmen, who is this. She's
the scion of a wrestling family.
Yep, she is, and she is the character's Samoan.
Yep.
I don't know if the actress is or not.
I honestly don't know off the top of my head.
I don't know, but
she definitely has that sort of Polynesian look to her.
Yeah. And she does a lot of the sort of. She's the one who basically teaches she between her and can't remember her name all of a
sudden. Cherry Bomb.
Cherry, yes. Between her and Cherry.
Sorry, Cherry Bomb is our working name because she's she's a stunt woman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, the stunt woman who's worked with Sam a lot over the years. They're the two that Cherry's technically the trainer, but it's because she knows like all this. She knows how to teach people how to do stunt work. Whereas Carmen knows how to do professional wrestling because she's from a family of professional wrestlers. Her dad's a legend, and her brothers are both her brothers are currently current actual pros. And she's not supposed to be doing this wrestling thing. Her dad doesn't want her to do that.
So you had that whole subplot of like, Des doesn't want me to wrestle, but it's my dream. I'm going to chase my dream thing, and that gets resolved exactly as you think it should. But that doesn't mean that the character stops being important.
Right.
So.
No, it's resolved pretty quickly. She eventually tells her dad, "Look, Dad, this is what I'm doing," and he's like,
"Well, fine, be that way. Guess you're good at it and stuff." There's Sheila, who is just great.
Oh, Sheila's great. Yep. Sheila the She-Wolf.
Yes. So turns out Sheila has about a 30% chance of having whatever skills required in a very specific way. Can you play the keyboard? Yep. Can you play anything other than Exodus? Nope.
She ends up being very useful to a lot of things, but Sheila is odd.
Sheila's a big ball of weirdness.
Yep.
And it's sometimes played for laughs, sometimes played for drama. As being a big ball of weirdness often is.
Mm-hmm.
And and she's just great.
Oh, she is wonderful. She is fantastic. So yeah, basically they all eventually develop their own wrestling characters. We've got Debbie ends up playing, the all-American girl Liberty Bell.
Yep.
Oh.
And yeah, she is. That's exactly what you think it is. It's exactly as painful as it sounds.
It is. The character is so 80s. She is such an 80s professional wrestler, top babyface. Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, she is peak schmaltzly Americana wrestling.
Oh. I mean, she is Glow's Hulk Hogan in
Yeah.
So yeah, she's dang, I forgot what I was going to say.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, she's Glow's Hulk Hogan in virtually all the ways Hulk Hogan, like all those ways that Hulk Hogan was the sort of best thing for WWE at the time and caused problems behind the scenes sometimes. Though she seems to be less of an asshole than Hogan, and definitely seems less racist. So
yeah,
that's a plus.
And she's got decent presence, but not a lot of competence when it comes to the actual wrestling.
She's actually not bad. Actually, once she actually gets,
once she starts taking it seriously,
yeah. It's a really interesting contrast between her and Ruth, because Ruth dives whole hog into it.
Yep.
And because Ruth ends up playing the top heel of the promotion, Zoya the Destroyer, who is
So Zoya is my favorite wrestling character ever, including real wrestlers, except for maybe the Undertaker, who is transcendent and therefore doesn't count.
Fair. The Undertaker is a special case. I will agree.
Yeah, the Undertaker is the Johnny Cash of wrestling. You like the Undertaker even if you don't like wrestling.
I can say I can understand. That's an argument I can understand. I happen to like wrestling, so
Right.
But yeah, Zoya is a wonderful. Zoya is.
She is also peak 80s.
Oh yeah, but is because she is your stereotypical Soviet villainess.
Yep.
Except somehow she's way more charming and entertaining than that archetype ever really is usually.
So here's the funny thing. So I've had this D&D character popping around in my head for ages who I was going to play like the happy like 80s Eastern European immigrant guy who is just really happy to not like have to deal with the bullshit of totalitarian governments anymore.
Right.
And Zoya is totally taking that thunder. Right down to the terrible Russian accent and the crappy syntax. Still gonna play him that way, but
But yeah, I think a noticeable part of it is just the sheer sort of glee and charisma that Ellis and Bree brings to the character of Zoya.
oh yeah, it is clear that she is having an absolute fucking ball every time she's in the Zoya persona.
Yeah.
Also, best Arslan costume I've seen in a long time.
It's real good. It's real good. But yeah, so the first season is sort of building up to is sort of structured and building up to the first actual show they're ever going to do. Sort of their pilot show.
Excuse me. Yep.
And all the things going around behind the scenes, and trying to get everything together to actually do it and actually have it happen. And season 2 is them actually, recording the TV program, and then things start going badly, and them trying to basically pull everything together at the end to try to basically save the show, because it's gonna get shit canned. Because it's sort of a cult hit and doing okay, but it unfortunately has
It got fireflied.
It got fireflied for probably worse reasons.
Yeah, for worse reasons. But basically, some shit goes down, for which you were entirely on the side of the characters, because of course you'd be, even if they were all assholes.
Because again, man, fuck that guy.
Yeah. And the show ends up getting like dicked around very much in a Firefly way. It gets preempted a lot. It gets time shifted, and like Firefly, it ended up with like a cult following that was like kind of obsessed with it and would like track it down whenever it happened to be airing. And if VCR is more prevalent, then they would probably be recording it all.
Mm-hmm. And so they go through. Bash and Debbie actually came with a very clever plan to actually sell the show to someone else. Yep. And it doesn't go as well as it could, unfortunately. But there's a little bit of
because corporate fuckery.
Because corporate fuckery, yes. But fortunately, at the end, they're able to sort of basically save the show, not as a television show, but they end up moving to Vegas to be a live stage show at a casino. Which is the framing for season 3, which we watched the first episode of. And wow, they have horrible luck, don't they?
Yeah. Hilariously bad luck.
Oh my god.
Like to the point where you can't help but giggle.
Yeah. But yeah, Glow is this just wonderfully bizarre and weird show with wonderful acting, really, really just well thought out and nuanced character. Like, basically, the entire cast of characters all have almost all of them have a lot more depth than you think they will at first.
Yeah.
Like, there's several characters you're like, wow, this character's gonna have no depth to them. Wait, they have depth to them. What the hell?
And what they managed to do with characters that don't get a lot of screen time also to like take what is like, oh, look at this stereotypical character here, and then add depth to them almost by accident. I say by accident, but it's clearly planned. But it feels, but it's done in like But
yeah,
it seemed entirely organic. Well done.
Almost the entire cast feel like real people.
Yes.
Like, there are a couple of them that just aren't utilized enough to really get that feel. The two women who play the old biddies that
Yep.
they're
Yeah, we don't
they're
see a lot of.
funny. We don't see enough of them for them to be feel like fully fleshed out real characters. But dear lord, they're funny.
Yeah.
But like Melrose is hilarious and has way more depth to her than I thought she was going to have.
Yes.
Holy crap, she's great. Uh, just for the sheer.
The same for the woman playing Britannica, whose name I can't remember.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. I can't remember her character's name, the actual character's name, but she's. Dear God, she has more depth to her than I thought she was going to have.
Yep.
Holy crap. Just like the cat, all of them, just like so many of them have just so much just. Like most of the sort of it's a good ensemble cast overall. There are very clearly more major characters. Debbie,
Yeah.
Ruth, Sam, and Bash are clearly the big four.
Yep.
With Cherry and Carmen sort of right in, and Melrose to a certain degree right in behind them, and Sheila obviously.
Right.
And then it sort of trickles out from there until Teme, obviously.
Yep.
Teme's one of my.
I gets a couple like really great storylines all to her own.
She does. Also, just like I love the sort of friendship that actually ends up being sparked between her and Debbie.
Yep.
It's really just kind of like, oh, that's actually kind of neat. Because Debbie's
there's a lot of like kind of cool stuff that just sort of like happens in that show.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, Debbie is very clearly not looking to be friends with the rest of the women on
right.
She knows she's the star, but Tammy basically reaches out to her, and Debbie just is just confronted by this really nice woman who's helpful and funny and smart and clever. And just generally and she just can't help but sort of like, you know what? Yeah, you're okay. Thank you. Like, Tammy's been helpful. It actually ends up being helpful to her, and they end up sort of just clearly becoming friends, and it's kind of neat. And clearly was not what Debbie was expecting to happen.
No, Debbie was expecting to have a bunch of disposable coworkers that she was very much on the page of. I work with these people. I'll be friendly towards them, but they are not my friends, and I do not care about them. That is my goal. I am not making friends.
Dear God, I've made friends.
Damn it, I have friends that I care about people. Fuck.
Oh my God. But yeah, the show overall, it's surprisingly good.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. So
it's laugh out loud funny a lot of the time. It's heartwarming from time to time, And there are a couple of times where you really was like, wow, fuck that asshole.
Life lessons from Sam.
Yeah. Oh, Sam. You wonderful, 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 terrible person that you are. So yeah, and long story short, we both really recommend Glow. It's on Netflix. Yeah. It's worth watching. It's hilarious.
Glow is totally worth checking out. So I guess that covers our what we've been doing recently thing.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, we both been sort of playing video games some here and there, doing other stuff.
I'm sort of poking my way around old MMOs and going, I remember this. And largely it's been how I've been playing video games lately.
Fair. I've been sort of noodling on a couple of things here and there that I'm working on.
Cool. Yeah, like I think I'm going to start playing my Gene Stealer Cult again because I think I've distanced myself enough from the gigantic losing streak I had with them. I'm willing to give them another chance. And get ready for an all-new losing streak.
Hooray, new losing streak. Oh, my God. Yeah, I've been playing the Fung Shui 2 game I've been playing has been going on still.
Nice.
Uh, we managed to save the world.
Excellent.
Only mildly. We've only been mildly corrupted by a dream demon.
What's the worst thing that happens? Some extra tentacles? It means an extra hand to get your keys.
Having our brains completely taken over by the dream demon eventually. Possession, things like that.
Whatever. Can't possess you if you're dead.
This is true.
So just go out in a blaze of glory and, like, flip them off on Valhalla. That's what I do.
Well, we're trying to find a way to actually, stop him so that it doesn't take over other people.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, see, that's the problem is he can do it to multiple people, and
Right.
it turns out that I mentioned that we were sort of questioning. I think I may have mentioned to you that we've been sort of semi-interacting with the Ascended, right?
Yeah.
And I mentioned that we were basically had to be interrogated by one of their sort of Inquisitor types who's a transformed dragon, and therefore no one to be fucked with.
Right.
Yeah, guess who's been possessed by the Dream Demon Forgotten Dawn?
Oh, our dragony friend, I take it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you're gonna have to murder him.
Yeah, her.
Guess you're gonna have to murder her.
Yeah, we.
I mean, can you really tell with the dragon? I mean, unless you're, like, intimately familiar with, like,
the transformed dragon.
Morphology. Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's very clear. It's a chick standing in front of me with dragon power that happens to have dragon power.
I'm gonna say, like, how familiar are you with the morphology of dragons? Like, I think that's something you could be forgiven for, misgendering a dragon.
If it was an actually big fire-breathing lizard, yes, totally. However, it is in fact a roughly 5'8" woman with, like, long blonde hair with an impeccable sense of fashion who can punch through carbon steel. Not literally, but close.
Whatever. That's what you got cybernetic gorillas for.
We don't have any
from the future.
We made sort of we've sort of made we've got some semi quasi not complete enemies of one of the sub factions of the Jammers.
Awesome.
Not the half the Jammers that actually are still trying to, who saw the current version of the Feng Shui timeline. The Jammers have dealt with the Architects. The Architects are no more.
Oops.
Yeah. Also, the Future Juncture is kind of also no more. The Jammers actually succeeded in blowing up Chi in the future.
Well, guys, I think we need to rethink this.
That's what a lot of them did. Yeah, they were like, that was not what we thought was going to happen. To which everybody said, you were trying to blow up Chi, the thing that is the life force of all living beings. What the hell did you think was going to happen if you succeeded? Everyone would have free will?
Not that?
Yeah, so there's a sub-faction there's a group of Jammers who are still convinced that they just need to blow up more Chi to make things better. The problem was they didn't blow up enough Feng Shui sites in Chi all at once. So they were working on doing that again. We
of course, we clearly doing it this way wasn't good enough, so we should do it more.
Yep. Yeah, we went after them because they had stolen a scroll from the Guiding Hand that we needed. And we stumbled across them in 1936 in the South American jungle at an ancient temple where they were trying to acquire the crystal skull of its Kaliqui so they could use it to power a new Chi bomb.
Holy crap, this sounds amazing.
Yeah, the crystal skull is now at the bottom of a lake. We beat them up and took the scroll away from them.
I'm just saying, like, hello, like, crazy pulp adventure story.
Yeah.
Which is clearly what you were going for.
Oh, this is not me running. This is Joey.
Oh, right.
I get to play in this, dude. I'm playing an auto mechanic from Hong Kong who knows some kung fu, and is totally not the luckiest son of a bitch on the planet, played by Sammo Hung. totally who I'm playing. I love my character. He's a lot of fun. Rusty is a lot of fun to play because the everyday hero is one of my favorite archetypes in any RPG. It is just so much fun.
It's a fun archetype. I'll totally agree with that. Yeah, so I had a we're in a bit of a holding pattern in Star Wars at the moment. But I had a discussion about like assigning D&D alignments to our characters. And I sort of assumed my character would fall into the chaotic neutral. I never really thought about it. Out of some outside perspective, I'm pretty solidly chaotic evil. I'm just not actively malicious. But I am callous and destructive.
Yeah, that's from what I've heard you describe your character. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I am callous and destructive. So yeah. No, I'm pretty solidly chaotic evil.
Hooray!
It's less Joker, more Bender from Futurama, though, so it's okay.
Yeah. Good. That Bender, you can work with Bender.
Yes. No, I tried playing Carnage once. It was challenging.
I've heard you describe that before.
Yeah. He was fun in a like let's indulge in all my worst instincts, and quickly petered out.
That was like, that Godlike campaign, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh God. So
yes, I've accidentally proven that you can in fact play chaotic evil in a group and have it not explode.
Oh yeah, I mean I've known that for some time. It's just I prefer not having that happen, not dealing with it. But that's just a preference on my part.
Right. It also helps that it was sort of something we determined without actually like playing
totally
without coming up with what's the word I'm looking for? Alignments ahead of time, which is something that naturally grew over the playing of the character.
No, exactly. Well, as we've both said for quite some time, alignments are a great tool. They're great guidelines, but they really shouldn't be mechanical, deterministic mechanics.
Yeah. And pretty much every experienced group of role players I've played with has ignored them, except when they like absolutely need to show up for whatever reason.
Oh yeah.
Then you're like, okay, what alignment am I? Guys, votes.
Yeah, I mean, I as I've said, it's like alignments are they're a good shorthand.
Yeah.
But that's sort of that's yeah. I don't know. It
was a stupid conversation had while drunk, and it was just one of those. Oh, geez, I think I'm evil. Fuck, I'm playing an evil character. I didn't mean to do that.
Well, a lot of your characters you played over the years have kind of fallen into that category, Eric.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Not all of them.
No, I've played some really good guys too.
And more than your share of sort of mildly amoral neutral people.
Yes. Yeah, that is kind of my default alignment there.
I was sort of thinking of Rook. Rook sort of leapt to mind from the Iron Kingdoms game.
I wouldn't say Rook was amoral. He was his morality was simply more flexible than might otherwise be thought. It was also a mercenary game.
I'm not faulting you for that, Eric. It made perfect sense for the game. Oh my god, yeah, no, but
I also think it's really funny that I'm playing in a game where the setting is very much like all about the black and white good and evil thing, and I ended up playing the evil character by accident.
Yep. No, you're I mean, you've in 2 of the games I've run on stream, you've played definitive good guys.
Yeah. I mean, Zarkov and Dr. Arcane, definitely good guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like there is no question about their goodness there.
I mean, Dr. Caine was you actually trying to stretch yourself a bit and playing a real, and genuinely,
An actual, honest to God, good guy.
yeah,
with like no ulterior motives or like, yeah. Dr. Arcane was the goodest boy. That is as good as I have ever been, and I haven't managed to be as good since.
Zarkov might have been actually more innocently good, honestly. He just wanted to play the bad guy.
He wanted to be a bad guy. Part of the joke with Tarkov is he wanted to be a bad guy, but he was just too good for it.
Well, I think it wasn't so much that he wanted to be the bad guy. He wanted to play the bad guy, which is a little bit different.
He wanted to pretend to be the bad guy, because the bad guy has more fun.
Yeah. Well, he was a wrestling heel.
Yeah, he was a wrestling heel.
Who is no longer in the wrestling promotion is like, oh, well, yeah, of course I'm gonna help people out. Why wouldn't I do that?
Why wouldn't I do that? That's dumb. It's dumb not to do that. Let's go punch evil.
Yay, punching evil! I have 2 fists. In a different
I'm still amazed that didn't get me killed.
Well, in a more traditional RPG, it probably would have, Eric. But we're playing Slayers, so I'm willing to. It was not a guarantee kill. A comedic save is allowable, and it turned out there was a comedic save option. Which someone made a joke about it, and I said, "Wait, that actually works."
That works. Holy crap! Yes, we're doing that.
Deus ex camel. It's doubly good because the camel was certainly obnoxious to you guys for most of the trip.
Yep.
And you guys didn't abuse it anyways. So
no, of course not, because we were good guys,
right?
Except
exactly.
for Word's character, who couldn't be bothered to be a jerk to it.
Right. Word's character was actually evil.
Yes.
And Nick's character was actually, I think, technically neutral.
Was he?
He was a bounty hunter.
I got the impression he was more like neutral good or chaotic good than anything else, but
he might have been chaotic good. I don't remember his official alignment, but
yeah, it didn't matter because it was a thing that didn't come up.
No. I mean, Word's alignment didn't come up that often either. Aramia's alignment didn't come up much either, really, honestly.
Yeah.
Though she did the very
I remember Word stating she was trying to play an evil character at one point more than anything else.
And and Aramia did a very foolish thing, which Word knew was a foolish thing. But it was entirely in character for Aramia, so...
What was that? I'm trying to remember.
Putting on the crown.
Oh, right. Yeah.
God, that was a bad idea.
No, you're not putting on the crown. That's dumb. Give me the crown. Here's a coin.
Oh, my God. I mean, it could have been worse.
Yeah, could have been worse. You could have all just shrugged and gone, okay, never mind.
Don't put the artifact crown on your head. It'll try to eat your brain.
Delicious brain.
Yes. Yum, 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 yum. But yeah, I'm still sort of slowly picking away at the new D&D setting.
Awesome.
I've had some notions here and there. One of the notions I had was actually I'm gonna sort of bounce this off you because I think it's kind of interesting.
Okay.
I haven't worked out exactly how I want to work it in, exactly how I want to phrase it. There was this thing I read somewhere that someone was sort of talking about. Oh no, I remember now. Yes. There's a comment in from the author of the webcomic Scandinavia and the World.
Yeah.
A wonderfully fun comic.
Yeah, I've read a fair amount of strips. It's lots of fun.
Yeah, he was talking about sort of the way Vikings handled the Vikings handled infidelity, which was, oh, my wife while I was out of Viking, my wife got pregnant. Okay, cool, I get to raise the kid. Ha ha, sucker! You had sex with my wife and she's having a kid. You don't get to raise the kid.
Screw you.
He's my kid now. And I like that conceptually to a certain degree. I think it's kind of interesting. And I'm thinking about working something similar into the Dragonborn Kingdom. And it not being so much that and more sort of evolving into more of a lineage by blood matters less than lineage by name.
So getting into the whole
so like it's who raised you is what matters, not who your biological,
and being actively adopted into a family is a really big fucking deal.
Yes, exactly. Like if you're being adopted into a big, like an important family, holy shit, that means that's awesome.
Yeah.
And
I like that idea. I like the like bloodlines don't matter. It's like, so you're both red dragons, yeah, and he's a black dragon, yeah. What's your point? Just okay, cool.
Your son's a black dragon, yeah.
Yeah, so it just, how does the genetics work? Oh, it didn't. Huh? Long story, don't sweat it. He's our kid, that's what matters.
Okay.
I also like the idea of particularly with the noble highborns poaching promising children from between different families.
That's something that might be in there, yeah.
I mean, clearly not like when they're kids, but like because that would be a big fat no. Like that would probably get you dead very fast with a system like that. But like the idea of like say the equivalent of like out of college, ready to take on responsibilities, and trying to poach the kid away from their family with like offers of like, what do they think might tempt the kid away?
Maybe it's definitely something to think about. It probably wouldn't be that common, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. But yeah, I just like I like the concept of that, and so as an interesting little cultural twist.
Yeah. No, I kind of dig that. Just the like, what? It's my kid now. I get to instill all the important shit onto him. Ha! I've achieved another degree of. I've achieved the immortality of my ideals, and that's what fucking matters. Screw you.
That's exactly
guy.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you're passing on what you know, your knowledge and your beliefs and your morals and such down the line matters way more than your passing your genetics down to them.
Yes. Which yeah, I kind of dig. I like that.
It's different.
Yeah.
Honestly, I actually think I've come up with a rationale for it too. And it being the fact that the Dragonborn don't have particularly high birth rates. So
that makes sense, particularly if they're not a more traditionally like evolved species, not like that they were actually created in more recent history than some of the other races. Like I don't know how like creation myth you're going with these guys, but if they were like something that like came in after history had started to be recorded and was created through some other means, like that would make sense, because I don't know, we showed up in the 2nd century BC. What, really? Yeah, no, our race didn't exist before then. Due to this magical wackiness that we started to exist. Just an idea I'm throwing out there. I don't know if you have any idea, love for it or not. Peter?
Sorry, what?
Okay, you're there.
I'm there. Yeah. No, I was sort of thinking about what you were saying. I just hadn't.
Right.
But yeah, it's I think it's an interesting little thing. So that's one thing that's been percolating in my head. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to get the lower birth rates but larger growth per birth. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't decided on that, Duani. it's one of those things I'm thinking about, and I've got to work out exactly how I want to phrase it. So like that's what sort of thing. I'm having these ideas for things. I'm just like I got to figure out how I want to like get it down on paper. But I'm making I'm making progress.
I have to say, it is really weird for you to try to define the world so thoroughly before running a game.
I do that sometimes though. I mean, I did that with the Shadowland campaign. Was pretty well defined by when I ran it, but admittedly that was because
I just got the impression that was something that more like you had been like doodling with for years and playing in.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Eric. That was totally not the case.
And like had played several campaigns, and by the time I got there, which I think was before you ran it on stream, or maybe it was after you ran on stream.
Before I ran on stream.
Yeah, it had been like stuff had grown on like from a dozen other campaigns, and like that's canon. We'll plug that in.
No,
sort of
that's actually not
very sort of ad hoc.
No.
Huh.
No, because none of the previous campaigns got very deep in is the thing.
Okay.
The deepest I ever got in that campaign setting I never really got deep into it until 4th edition, where I had a couple of different campaigns going roughly simultaneously in the same setting. Because I'm a daft bastard.
Right.
Basically, that setting was the first thing I ran in using 4th ed. Literally the test campaign I ran was for 4th ed was with my Thursday crew, and was literally the prepackaged one that was the first prepackaged adventure they released.
Oh, neat.
Keep on the Shadowfell, and basically I just sort of adapted, made tweaks that to fit it into my setting, and ran from there, and then used those tweaks that I made which established a few things the tweaks that I made for the setting to the setting and to that adventure were adapted over to the version I ran with you guys.
Okay.
And I kept basically all of that for the version I ran on stream. But almost all I basically had come up with the rough framework for that setting a long time ago, and had tried running the campaign without too much detail into it a few times, and never really got very far into it.
Okay, it's a good setting, and I just always, because of the way you operate, I assumed it was something that evolved ad hoc over several campaigns.
It did somewhat, but because I hadn't gotten that deep into it the first few times, it didn't get a chance to evolve very far.
Okay.
But I've run at least a little bit of it in every edition from AD&D on. So first edition AD&D, technically speaking, in first edition AD&D, although that was still after second edition had been out for a long time, but before third had come out, I think. But yeah, the first time I ran it was using So, do you remember in the first edition DMG, they had the rules in the back for designing allowing the DM to design their own classes?
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so I decided to let the players actually design their own classes using that instead of using traditional classes. No, that actually was fine, because most of the classes you can't build. Honestly, the classes you build using that system generally are actually generally less powerful than the powerful actual classes.
Okay.
As a general rule of thumb.
I'm sorry, I'm just so used to Games Workshop. I will make my own thing, and it ends up being busted as all hell.
You probably could break it. You could. I am certain you could break it, but as a general rule of thumb, it didn't really break. No.
Okay.
And then I ran it very, very brief. That unfortunately did not. Yeah. So that one didn't get out of the first session. Because I realized that that group of players was not the right sort of group to run the sort of campaign I was running at the time with that setting. They were more interested in doing a more lighthearted, goofy, off the wall type thing, and that was not the angle I was going for at the time.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, this is just not going to work. We'll switch up to something that will suit this group better. And we did that. And then I tried running in second ed, and I think that made it a few sessions before I basically was like, I hate second edition. If I remember correctly. I don't remember that specifically.
See, second edition was the first edition I ever played, and the first role playing game I ever played, and
Right.
I didn't know any better.
Oh, I see. Whereas I've been playing second edition for quite some time at that point.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it wasn't until I played like a dozen other systems and third edition rolled around. I was like, oh wow, this is so much better than second. Holy shit.
yeah. And I will agree. I actually liked third ed better than I liked second while I was playing third ed. And then I played
Right.
other games. And then I stopped playing third ed for a while and came back to it. And it's like, oh my god, no, burn it with fire. Why am I running this system? Ah. Oh god. As I've said many times, I'm vastly more okay with 3.x D&D as a player than as a game master.
Right. No, I can imagine that.
I hate
Like 3.x / Pathfinder, whatever. I'm becoming less fond of the more distance I have between myself and it. I'm becoming more fond of fourth with distance. So
it's interesting.
Yeah.
We agree that fourth, the one advantage third has over fourth, it has a better skill system.
It's a vastly superior skill system. But fourth is just so much more tactically interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking purely mechanically.
Oh yeah.
Like, because you can RPG using like fucking paper bags if you need to.
Yeah.
It's called playing pretend.
Yeah. You don't need rules to role play.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's always like irked me about like the people's complaint about fourth edition was, the role playing rules are terrible. And they're like, dude, you don't need rules to role play.
Role play rules. You don't
the
need
reason
rules
you need the detailed rules for combat is that's the place where you want it to be fair and balanced. The GM is not can't be is the GM's biases don't hurt the players as much.
Right. So that everyone ends up feeling capable and powerful or whatever they're supposed to be feeling, as opposed to just being the amazing wizard and the sidekicks.
But it's not even just that. It's like literally the reason you need detail. You want like in a game that's about combat, in a game that's largely about fighting, which D&D is as a general rule of thumb.
Right.
The combat rules are important.
Yes. I'm convinced the biggest problem 4th edition had was presentation.
Oh, yeah. Well, like also timing. Like, it's the timing of it, and...
I honestly think, like, they aren't as interesting books to just pick up and flip through.
Yeah, I could see that.
The pages aren't as nicely designed. I mean, they're very clear, and you can read everything that you want, but it doesn't feel like a...
Yeah, that's the thing. Is the third ed player's handbook is a vastly prettier book, but it is harder to actually read.
Yes.
Because of the combination of the color of the font, the size of the font, and the color of the pages.
Oh, no, you are not at all wrong. I agree.
Oh, God, it's just
but like the bright block text and everything, like the presentation was very not.
But it looks so pretty. I will agree. The third ed books look pretty.
Yes, and I think that's more important than a lot of people realize.
More
important for more people than they realize.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It's really interesting. Now, it doesn't bother me because I basically, while I started playing with D&D, obviously, and played a lot of D&D, I also dove hardcore into GURPS and Hero System, which are, God, their books are utilitarian.
Well, they're intentionally so because they don't want to influence the kind of game you're running. They're intended to be like, here's a generic set of rules that you can use for anything. It is in fact GURPS name, generic role plays.
Right. But it's like, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like the books are utilitarian, and it's partially because that, and partially due to budgeting, like,
right.
And and so that's sort of what got me through it, like, and I went from these very utilitarian, very easy to functionally easy to read books to third edition D&D, and I actually had literally had trouble actually reading through the rules, like. I'm like, oh God, I did eventually.
Well, I realized that this years ago when I realized I had no interest in just casually flip through the any fourth ed book, but I would still flip through like
Mm-hmm.
second edition D&D books, but even though I hate second edition.
Fair. It's interesting. It legitimately is.
And like, I saw that they weren't very pretty books and or prettily designed books. I was like, okay, that's fine. They're very utilitarian. They do their job. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I'm getting into. So, I know the genre and whatnot.
The thing about it is that when you need to look up a rule in the 4th ed book,
it's right there. You know exactly what you need. Yep.
You find the rule and you go, I can read that.
Yep. But I will say, like, unless I want to look, I'm specifically looking up a rule or designing a character, I have no interest in flipping through a 4th ed book.
Sure.
Well, I've been casually flipping through the 5th ed book for no other reason than it was within arm's reach and has pretty pictures and interesting page layout.
Yeah, and I've got my 5th ed player's handbook right here, and I hate the color. I hate the color of the pages, and I hate a lot of the colors of some of the text choices. And
sure, and I understand that, but it is a much more interesting book to casually flip through. It feels more in line with the setting.
I would agree with that, but it is functionally less useful. And as a game master, that is a crime as far as I'm concerned.
It is perhaps functionally less useful, but it's still clear. I still know what I'm looking for.
It is better than the 3rd edition books. I will
Yes.
I will agree with you completely. It is readable.
Yeah.
Oh god, I hate the 3rd edition books so much.
I find it's a good balance between presentation and
Sure.
and utilitarianism.
I would agree with that for the most part. But yeah, so I've got things percolating away for the D&D setting.
Excellent. I mean, I don't have any hard and fast characters, but I really want to play this particular one in my head. So
yeah, I will. Basically, I just need to.
Which is actually evolved from the Knoll I told you about like a year ago.
It's almost a year ago, actually, at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm noodling on things. Basically, I just need to actually. I don't need. Here's the thing I need to do. I just need to actually note down my stuff on the various major nations. Note down some major landmarks, and basically, I need to. I'm actually much closer than it seems like in some ways. It's a lot of stuff that I just need to get down on paper,
right?
And figure out how I want to write it.
Nothing is worse than a blank piece of paper. If you can exactly see what you're trying to do in your head, getting through that blank piece of paper is a pain in the ass. Trust me, I know.
But yeah, it's going to happen eventually. I just need to get it down there.
Do it. I have guys that want to punch or chop or stab. There's definitely going to be punching, stabbing, and chopping.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it that way. There's no magic for me.
Fair enough.
Isn't it really need a goblin warlock? Which is my other character idea.
But that has magic, Eric. Oh god. All right, we should probably wrap the podcast up here.
Yeah, we've been on for about an hour at this point.
We're beginning to ramble, honestly.
Yeah.
I say beginning. All right, we have no viewer questions this week, so none of that tomfoolery. But if you have questions you'd like us to answer in the podcast, please do send them to us. Our email address is surlygrognards@yahoo.com, surlygrognards@yahoo.com. Or you can post them in the comment section on YouTube, or you can hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @MechaGM. If you'd like to, you can send us feedback, constructive criticism, etc. We adore getting that at all the same places. We love knowing how to make the show better and stuff.
Yeah, that's really useful.
So, please let us know. And if you've got things you'd like us to talk about, show topics, things you'd like us to dedicate an entire episode to, God, we love those.
Wow, do we need those?
Yeah, otherwise we just, talk about, like, TV shows we've been watching or D&D settings we may never play.
Which is gibber incessantly into the corner, and it's just not as cool as you think it is.
Or maybe we'll just sit here and sort of stare at our computer monitors for 4 minutes and 33 seconds at a time, so that John Glass can sue us.
I think that's probably going to be our plan for next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll give you our rendition of John Glass's 433. Oh, before we go, Eric, I did want to share one other random thing that popped in my head recently.
Okay.
A champion's character concept. I haven't decided if it's going to be a hero or a villain yet.
Okay.
And I haven't fully decided a name. I'm leaning to the working name is Dr. Frankenstein, but it's not what you think.
Okay. Is it a Frankenstein's monster who is a doctor?
No, it's not a Frankenstein. It is Frankenstein's monster, who now has a doctorate. And is still kicking around.
Awesome.
I just haven't decided whether he's a hero or a villain yet.
I think that's fucking... personally, I'm seeing a Hellboy type of character.
Yeah, kind of. That's sort of what I'm thinking. So, he's physically very big, tough, and strong with, and it's, he's Frankenstein's monster, but his main big sort of thing is this. He's been around for like a century or two at this point.
He knows a lot of shit and somehow always ends up like dealing with monsters by punching them.
So yeah, I'm thinking
I just oh great, another major mythological figure that I'm going to have to punch into oblivion. That's just a great day for me.
I thought you'd appreciate the character.
It's a great character concept, and I'm angry I didn't come up with it myself.
Literally occurred to me like the other day, this morning. I was like, "Oh God, I'm gonna have to build this character." Also, it occurred to me, I'm like, I sort of out of curiosity, I can't remember if Frankenstein is actually in the public domain at this point or not. I think it is.
I think it is. I'm not sure. It should be. I don't think the Shelley estate has like found a way to keep it going in perpetuity, the same way the Disney estate has. Because Mickey Mouse should be...
Okay, so yes.
Yeah.
The book by Mary Shelley is indeed public domain, even by European standards. What is not in public domain are certain specific versions of the Frankenstein monster, most notably the Universal Pictures version.
Right, okay.
So yeah, I can't do the Boris Karloff, neck bolts thing, but,
There's plenty of other ways to make that character.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like visually. And still have it be recognizable as, like, classic Frankenstein's monster.
Yep. But I have to... it's a character concept that literally popped in my head, and I had to share it before I forgot to. I knew I was going to want to mention it to you. And...
Yeah, I am angry that I did not come up with it. It's amazing.
I may build it and throw it into my folder of pre-generated superhero characters to occasionally maybe use someday in a pickup supers game. To say, all right, we're gonna do a pickup game here. Everybody pick a character from this list, this bunch of characters I've already built, because that just saves time.
Yeah,
for a pickup game that works.
Absolutely.
So I've got like the ones I've got built so far. I think you've seen most of them. So I've got like
there's
El Cazador.
El Cazador. There's the Oni woman.
Yep. Arachne, the gymnast / cyberneticist with Doc Ock limbs and Spider-Man's power set overall. Whom I adore. I love her. She's great. And now I'm adding to that. I'm adding Dr. Frankenstein to that.
Actually, not a big fan of my father. I would have used my mother's surname if I had one. A surname, a mother.
Yeah. So that's gonna do it for this episode. So yeah, show topic suggestions. questions, feedback, all that stuff. Certainly Grognards at yahoo.com, YouTube comments, or my Twitter. Yeah, we'll be back maybe next week.
Barring something stupid happening, which includes us simply forgetting.
Yeah, like last week, which we
like last week.
Yeah, I forgot to check with Eric until it was a bit late, and then Eric didn't check Discord until much later when he realized, oh crap, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, I was like, dude, there's something I'm supposed to be doing right. Oh fuck, it's Tuesday. Oh fuck, it's Tuesday. It's 9:00. Never mind.
So, oops, we would have done an episode last week, but we kind of forgot.
Yeah, it's
was
entirely because we're old and
dumb,
have damaged our brains.
Well, you more than I have probably, but.
Yeah. They tell you not to eat all that cadmium paint, but it's just so tasty.
All right, so that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed the show, do feel free to hit like and subscribe here on YouTube. It helps. Leave a comment, etc. Pass the links around, etc., etc., etc. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.